Hannity, and tonight we begin with a Fox News alert. It is another good night for Republicans. President-elect Donald Trump has announced his new pick for Attorney General. That is Pam Bondi. Now, this is a terrific nomination for many, many reasons. Now, Pam worked as a prosecutor for nearly 2 decades, was the first woman elected, two-time elected, Attorney General, the great state of Florida, where she served for 8 years. Pam Bondi, known for being tough on crime, worked hard to curb drug trafficking, pill mills in Florida, and during her tenure, Florida became one of the safest states in the country. Florida's balance of freedom and security is a big reason why people like me and so many others have decided to move to the great free state of Florida in the past decade. Now, as we continue, of course, during the election, one of the top concerns for voters, it was rising crime, wasn't it? Your small towns, big cities all across the country. This nomination is a clear sign that President-elect Trump intends to make good on his promise to make America safe again. If you need any more evidence than that, Pam Bondi will do a great job. Take a look at the reaction at MSDNC. Kind of priceless, actually. Take a look.
Pam Bondi is exactly what I was saying in the last segment that we should all fear, because she's competent. We may not agree with her ideologically, but she actually knows how to do this job. So if anyone on the Democratic side or anyone who cared about liberty or justice was thinking, well, maybe Matt Gaetz will screw this up and that'll give us some time. No, Pam Bondi knows what she's doing. She is a dangerous and effective pick, and that's frankly worse than what we would have got with Matt Gaetz.
I think Matt Gaetz, who saw that it politically was becoming untenable, I think they both share the same values in this sense, is we must not ever weaponize the Department of Justice. What they did to Donald Trump and people around him can never, ever happen again, ever. And we've got to restore institutions like the FBI, the CIA, to their former greatness, because they have been politicized, weaponized. That has to end. It can't be they go after us when they're in power, we go after them when they're in power. No, this has to end altogether. In other good news, Democrat sore loser Bob Casey, wow, amazing. He finally conceded weeks after Republican challenger Dave McCormick was declared the winner. Republicans now have a 53-seat majority in the U.S. Senate. Even though vote counting continues in California, the 2024 elections pretty much now in the rearview mirror. And after a humiliating loss, Democrats, they kind of stopped pretending. The mask is coming off. In other words, the big lie, they're not pretending anymore. They're no longer the party of hardworking, middle-class men and women, all of you watching this show, the people that make this country great. You get up, work hard, play by the rules, pay your taxes, obey the laws, take your kids to church, study with them at night, cook them at dinner. You make the country great, because they literally don't care. They don't care about the people that make America great. They are, West Coast elitists and East Coast elitists. Hollywood, San Francisco, New York, D.C., that's them. The DHS Secretary, Alejandro Mayorkas, the FBI Director, they won't even bother to show up for their annual hearing on threats to our homeland. By the way, threats created by Harris and Biden and Mayorkas and their insane open borders, crimes that should have been stopped by the FBI director, who had an opportunity to change course and reclaim the greatness of the finest law enforcement institution ever designed by man. And the first time in 15 years, America's top security officials will not tell you the state of safety and security in our country. Now, they're accused of skipping out to avoid, quote, awkward questions about the heinous murder of Laken Riley at the hands of an illegal immigrant just sentenced to life in prison. Should have gotten the death penalty, in my view. Sadly, Laken is only one of a long list. We show you this. We showed you this throughout the whole campaign. Americans murdered, raped, assaulted by unvetted, Harris, Biden, illegal immigrants, who were welcomed into our country for now almost 4 straight years. But Alejandro Mayorkas and the FBI Director, Christopher Wray, they don't seem concerned to warn the American people. Christopher Wray's been saying the threat level's never been this bad. Now that the election is over, they're no longer pretending to care? In fact, the Biden administration, they just loosened illegal immigration restrictions. Yet again, Biden's DHS is now allowing all illegals who are abusing the asylum process, aided and abetted by Harris and Biden, to skip their in-person check-ins at an ICE office and just use an app that's not working too well. to check in. According to FoxNews.com, quote, the app reportedly has severe glitching issues, does not track a migrant's location if he or she is using an Android phone or a laptop. And further, the app does not check illegal immigrants for past arrest, outstanding warrants. Now, what does that mean? That increases the odds dramatically that they will not be discovered ever again. That includes known terrorists in this country, murderers, rapists, gang members, cartel members, other violent criminals. In other words, Harris, Biden, Mayorkas, their legacy is one where they have literally put what they consider the rights, and there are no rights for illegal immigrants, but the rights of illegals in their mind over every single American safety and security, and they put it over the rule of law and our Constitution. One New York City council member remarked, this doesn't seem to be in the spirit of the peaceful transition that Biden promised. I don't think so. I think that city council member is right. And the problems don't stop there. According to a report from the House Judiciary Committee, criminals might actually be using Biden's lax parole program to traffic women, young girls across the border, sex trafficking, prostitution. The report also shows, quote, welfare recipients, people involved with criminal activity, and even other illegal immigrants have been approved as sponsors for those paroled after crossing the border illegally. Remember on the campaign trail when border czar Kamala Harris claimed she tried so hard to secure the border, but Republicans, they got in the way. No, her bill was an amnesty bill that will allow 2 million people in the country every year, unvetted, of course, and it also gave them discretion not to enforce the law. She was straight up lying. But now she's at it once again, totally unbothered by what has been. Kamala Harris, still vice president, still border czar, on a lavish vacation in Hawaii. Not a care in the world. And as for your president, Joe Biden, he's still president. The days are short, the naps are long, and the ability to do much of anything is waning before our very eyes. Take a look.
I didn't know any of these guys behind me, but they just showed up. I don't know where the hell they came from. 2024 NBA champions, the Bulls. You're Celtics, right? The Boston Celtics.
Why is that not funny? A sad, tragic end to a terrible presidency. And while Democrats, while they struggle to pick up the pieces, maybe they could take some notes from Donald Trump. Voters love the president's authenticity. They love that the president-elect says what he believes. And with Democrats during an election, it's all smoke and it's all mirrors and it's all lies and it's all name-calling. It's all demagoguery. I mean, it's all disgusting and repulsive, to be honest. And frankly, it's exhausting. Even disgraced former NBC News anchor Brian Williams, who himself, to be honest, knows a thing or two about smoke and mirrors, he can see what's happening. And maybe that expertise actually helped him perfectly diagnose the failures of the Democratic Party. Take a look at this.
It is tough love time for the Democratic Party. I think it needs to be stripped down and rebuilt. I think that means a change in leadership. I want to know who thought it was a good idea that Joe Biden stand for another 4 years at 80 years of age and 37% popularity. I think it's insulting when members of the working class, which the Democratic Party has lost entirely in our lifetimes, to insist the economy is doing great. I think the biggest unforced error of the Biden administration by far was the border. To tell people it's not a problem is insulting.
Great analysis. Here's the problem. Brian, why didn't you tell the country before the election? And will Democrats actually learn from this loss? All indications are they will not. The party is now so radical extreme left, it might be past the point of no return. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.